So you need to consider resilience as well. So continuity planning is expanding from regional failover to provider exit scenarios. So run periodic switch drills, measure egress exposure and migration duration, and maintain a landing zone on an alternative provider. I always tell this to my clients, have some sort of an exit plan. So in other words, if you're moving into the cloud, you're probably going to be happy with the cloud for a long time, 10, 20 years is typical the life cycle I think that we're looking at right now. But what happens if something goes wrong? In other words, the cloud provider starts to raise their rates to an obnoxious level where it doesn't make sense to remain on that provider. Where are you going to move your data to? How are you going to move the data? What it's going to cost, and what are the current targets for the ability to have the continuous use of the information. And that's going to be, okay, what is it going to cost me to move from AWS to Microsoft? What is it going to cost for move from Microsoft to Google? What is it going to cost to move from AWS to traditional on-prem platforms or to private clouds that exist on-prem or to other secondary providers and special purpose clouds, sovereign clouds, things like that. All that should be known when you come into this. And it's difficult to do. You have to put some rigor around it and even have lawyers involved in reading the agreements to make sure you're not making a mistake. But let me tell you, like everything else, like employment contracts and housing contracts, things like that, everything comes down to the legalese. It's on the paper that you signed, and you got to really kind of understand what that means to you and make sure you have contingencies. So if my cloud provider, becomes a problem and I have to move off of that provider to other alternative platforms, what's that going to cost me?